What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data and today is November 10th of 2017. Well, folks, as you all keep up with the channel, you know that every Friday I recap on the weekly price action, news, and topics related to cryptocurrencies and try to break them down all into one video. And today we have got a lot to talk about, especially today out of all days of the week, seeing as there's been a lot of sell-side action in cryptos and people have been panicking left and right asking, Nick, what do I do with my Bitcoin? What do I do with my altcoins? And folks, first off, I'm not going to give you a general consensus on what to do. I'm not your financial advisor. But, however, I do want to help you keep a calm mindset, understand everything, as I always try to do, and really try to break down what's going on in the market right now. So there's a lot to talk about. A lot of people have been also curious, outside of the question of Bitcoin and altcoins, why Bitcoin Cash, out of all cryptocurrencies, is mooning right now. It's doing fantastic comparative to other altcoins and even Bitcoin itself. So we're going to talk about this throughout the video, and I'm going to break down why it's happening, at least in my opinion. And I think there's a few factors at play, but there's one big one that people aren't really taking into account, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. So first off, let's talk about the daily price action. We can obviously see there's a little bit of a rebound here over the past few hours. I think over the past 2 hours, we've really seen a nice little bounce up here. But a lot of people have been curious, like Nick, you've been generally talking about a pullback coming to Bitcoin. Is this that pullback, or are we starting the process of it? And again, I don't want to play off my old meme from one of my videos where I was talking about, should you buy Bitcoin? Again, you can't be too sure at these levels. No, but at the end of the day, guys, we haven't seen like a true flash sale yet. This is definitely a correction of 6 to 7%. It's a nice pullback day. But I think you're honestly not at a level to where you need to worry about the market just like drastically pulling back. I don't think we're in China FUD scenario yet. And right now it's still holding up relatively well. Since November, it's still up, right now. So again, we have to keep a little bit level-headed here, not get too, dramatic about what we do with our cryptocurrency. Let's think about it in a more level-headed approach. And let's talk about what we've been talking about over the past few days. Now remember, when I was talking about my video, and I think I actually got someone commenting this, I do read you guys' comments, but there was some person who's saying, oh, here goes Nick again, trying to predict both sides and say that he called it. Folks, I'm not claiming that I called the pullback, and I'm not even saying we're in a pullback. What I did say was back here, during this wedge here on the hourly, I said, look, you're going to have either one of two things. You can obviously see the price action was wedging here. You're either going to have a break up to the upside, or you're going to have a breakdown. That's just common with what happens with wedges. And not to mention, after a volatile event like that, wedges have lots of impact and markets will make quick decisions. And as you can see, that happened on the hourly. It pulled down. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I knew that was going to happen. No, I played devil's advocate and I said that it could go both ways. And that's how a wedge usually operates, unless it's a certain type of wedge, which can give hints to which way it's going to go. But in very simple terms, I said, if the market pops up here and we get back over these highs, you're most likely seeing the market hope and go towards 10K, that there's going to be some news about the CME group coming out with the futures for Bitcoin, etc. And if it were to do that, I would stay optimistic on Bitcoin until 10K. However, the market has decisively stated that, in the sense of price action rather than words, look, this is probably a little overextended. We need to pull back. Which isn't crazy. We're up 50% from the last highs in August for Bitcoin, folks, which is already relatively overextended for the short period of time that it took for Bitcoin to get up here. I mean, again, let's take a step back for a moment. I think we look at we do look at the hourly too much. We look at the 5-minute too much because we're trying to trade cryptocurrencies. Look at how far we've come, folks. I mean, this is amazing that Bitcoin has been able to do this. The idea, though, that we might get a correction after an entire cancellation of a fork, and that a lot of this overextension outside of the normal channel for Bitcoin was off of hopes and dreams that Amazon was going to adopt Bitcoin next week and the CME group was going to launch futures the next day. Folks, we got to be a little bit patient. Things like this don't happen overnight. And a lot of this was FOMO. There's no doubt about it. This started happening after the CME announced futures for Bitcoin. So it wouldn't be crazy to think that the market might pull back and close that price action through a correction if it doesn't turn out that they deliver by Q4 of 2017, which really they've only got about a month left until the holidays. And I honestly don't think they're going to be able to deliver by then. They stated they're planning to, but I don't know how deep that planning has gone yet, or if they're just talking about it. Or maybe they just got the announcement out and they wanted to market it and say, yeah, let's prop up CME Group stock because new trading volumes will come in through all this hype around Bitcoin. And yes, you don't have to own it. You can just own the futures. Again, Private companies do that sometimes, and they speak a little bit ahead of the game in regards to when they're actually going to launch something, because they want to get people hyped up. They want to let people know ahead of time. And I think markets took it as if it was going to launch next week. Now, could it still happen? Absolutely. But I think we are going to see a correction beforehand, and this could very well be the start of it. I'm not fudding, though, in any sense. I'm just saying, that's what people are, I think some people are thinking I'm trying to FUD on Bitcoin. Folks, I'm not FUDing, it's called a correction. Again, I don't mean to get all antsy about it, but I've gotten a few people just kind of criticize me for that. It's like, it's called a run up from $3,000 to $7,800. That's more than 100% return from when we were buying down here at the lows. We've made killer profits so far. And much like with the previous run up and the previous sell off, we were pretty accurate at calling the top and the bottom on it. It's not too complicated to know when markets are a little overextended. And we have to have the discipline of sitting back and saying, okay, yeah, things might pull back a little bit. So again, I'm not saying we're in the full-scale pullback now, but there is a reason why Bitcoin's correcting today more than anything. You have all of course, I think a lot of dying hype around Bitcoin about the Amazon stuff in the futures, and we're coming into a little more of a kind of a normalizing realization of what Bitcoin's price should be. But there's something else. A lot of you have been noticing Bitcoin Cash has been going up like crazy. And it has actually gained more than half of the market cap of Ethereum today. So this is something to take note of. Bitcoin Cash has definitely come up out of nowhere over the past few days. So we've been mentioning it a little bit, but I'll be honest, I've kind of said I don't have any real trading ideas on it. I've been kind of staying out of Bitcoin Cash. I don't believe in the long-term longevity of it, but a lot of people are claiming that the flippening is happening, or the cashing in the case of Bitcoin Cash. The cashing is happening, where Bitcoin Cash is going to somehow take over Bitcoin. Now, there is a possibility of it. We sit here and laugh all we want. Anything could happen in crypto markets, but a lot of people are curious as to why this is happening. And I want to try to break it down in a logistical sense. So as we take a look here, to really emphasize what I'm trying to go after, there is practically no coin except for Minex coin that is really in the green today comparative to Bitcoin Cash. Nothing like it. And especially at the scale of Bitcoin Cash. It's now a $15 billion cryptocurrency. So why is Bitcoin Cash up so high? Well, a lot of people have been throwing a few different things around. They've been saying, Nick, look at the volume. The Koreans are buying it up. So it's obviously the Koreans that are buying this and propping this up. Well, yeah, there you can see the buyings there, but that doesn't really tell us any motive. Why is Bitcoin Cash going up? Is this just really another kind of, South Korean kind of pumping the price and stuff where they pump in institutional volume? Could be. That's one possibility, but I don't get why you'd just randomly put $2 billion in something. Well, maybe is it Roger Ver? Is it Roger Ver coming out and saying that, he's on like a tweet storm over the past few days talking about how Bitcoin Cash is, the real Bitcoin and stuff. And as you all know, Roger Ver, if you keep up with him and the rest of the crypto community, he is an absolute advocate for Bitcoin Cash. And with all due respect to him, he's someone who's been in the industry for a long time. He's a very respectable person. And to be fair, he does make a good point. In the white paper, and this is the reason why he's so behind Bitcoin Cash, he's against the original SegWit implementation, segregated witness, where you take the third part of any transaction, the signature, out of the transaction. So you have three parts. You have the sender, receiver, and the signature. And we've removed that with SegWit, with Bitcoin in August. That's what the first fork was. And there were some people in the community. Most people got behind it because really right now it operates fine. There's no real issue with it right now. However, Roger Ver, like a lot of people, thought that was really breaking the core fundamentals of Bitcoin and what Satoshi Nakamoto fought for. No matter if you disagree with them or not, that's where they stand. And that's why Bitcoin Cash was created in the first place. It was a forked currency because there was a part of the community that didn't agree with that. So at the end of the day, you really have to think, is Roger Ver shilling Bitcoin Cash? Is this why it's going up? Is it because he's pointing out the ridiculous transaction fees comparative to the two without the increase in the block size? Is it because he's posting dank memes on his Twitter, about the difference of Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin? Folks, as much as I think these play a role, they are not the biggest reason why it's moving up. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash on this chart right here. Okay, we can see it's absolutely mooning. Of course, we have the volume and stuff. But why is it doing this? Let's think about it on a very logistical sense here. What just happened a few days ago? No, CME futures did not launch yet. No, Amazon didn't start accepting Bitcoin, or Bitcoin Cash in this case. What happened was SegWit 2x got canceled. And if you watched my video talking about SegWit 2x, I talked about how it's not only important to understand SegWit 2x, but to understand how it formed to be, what the history was behind SegWit 2x. And it isn't too far away. It was just a few months ago in the New York Agreement. You had two different counterparties in the community that really had different ideas on where Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Legacy, I don't know, you care, toss whatever term you want at it. But Bitcoin right now, actually, because seeing as the fork has been canceled, where Bitcoin should go. Okay, they had a big disagreement on where it should go, and they had two different solutions. There was a real issue at the end of the day, which was scalability. And you had two sides to the party. You said, on one side, we should implement segregated witness, remove the signature out of the transaction, and we can fit, more inside an individual block. And some people said, no, that's not right. We should not have segregated witness. We should not remove the signature from the transaction. We should implement an increase on the block size to 2 megabytes. So you had those two conflicting sides, and they've been talking about this for, over I think a year and a half to 2 years. I mean, the scalability topic has been in the space for a while. And they finally met at the New York Agreement. And you had two counterparties, and they said, at the end of the day, someone, I don't know who it was, someone brought the idea, it's like, hey, why don't we come to an agreement? Why don't we implement both? We can implement segregated witness, and we can implement the 2 megabyte block size, and they eventually came to the agreement. So you had people who control 80% of the hashing power coming together and coming to an agreement that on August 1st, around there when we had the first fork, that there would be implementation of segregated witness on Bitcoin. And it went through, and it was fine. Now, there was a small fraction of the community that created Bitcoin Cash, and what they did was they did not implement SegWit. They were a hard forked currency, and on that currency, there was an increase of the block size, not to 2 megabytes, but to 8 megabytes. Okay, now keep this in mind. Now, we have Bitcoin Cash and we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin now has segregated witness. Then we have what was supposed to happen here in mid-November, SegWit 2x, an implementation of a 2 megabyte block size. However, that got called off. That solution that was going to have SegWit, what we originally agreed to in the first part of the agreement, and the increased block size, as of now, it's no more. So there's a part of the community that came to that agreement and feels a little bit of distrust. Feels like they got the bad end of the deal. They didn't get the block size increase, which is what they originally came there to get in the first place. So if we think about it on a logistical sense, if you were a part of, I would say it's honestly more about 25% of the community, or 20% if anything, that wanted the increase in the block size, what do you think you're going to do if you got the bad end of the steak there and you didn't get your SegWit 2x? You buy Bitcoin Cash. Let's think about it in a logistical sense. If you didn't get SegWit 2x, then what are you going to go do? Let's go get what we originally wanted, but even more. Let's get something with an 8 megabyte block size. Let's buy Bitcoin Cash. And whether or not you thought, no, 2 megabytes would be good, at the end of the day, you might feel enough to where you're like, this is way more than what we want. This is more than what we wanted originally. And we didn't want SegWit. Let's buy Bitcoin Cash. And that's what I think is happening now. As much as it's a small fraction of the community compared to the majority who did not want the increase in the block size, at the end of the day, it's general kind of market trends. You have 15 to 20% of people who were originally holding Bitcoin, and now they see Bitcoin Cash having something they want and not having something they don't want, so they're going to go to Bitcoin Cash. And I think that's what's happened here. It's been a little bit of a realization and a FOMO rally towards a debate in the community. It's really against two forks now. Bitcoin Gold does not really play a role in this. Yeah, it's mooning up and stuff, whatever, but it's not to the scale of Bitcoin Cash. This is the real debate here. Is it going to be Bitcoin Cash coming in for the cashing and replacing Bitcoin because of its lower transaction fees? Or is it going to be Bitcoin, at the end of the day? Is this just a short-term run-up? Is it people who are upset that they didn't get their SegWit 2x? I think there's personal conflict here. I think there's personal differences, and everyone at the end of the day has their own benefits that they gain from this kind of movement. But at the end of the day, folks, I think that's what's happening here. Just wanted to kind of give you my explanation to it. Yes, Roger Ver plays a role in it. Yes, Korean volume plays a role in it, but I think they come hand in hand with what's happening. As you can see, Roger Ver is taking upon this opportunity, along with the other people in the community for Bitcoin Cash, to really say, look, for those of you who felt abandoned, come to Bitcoin Cash. We've got an 8 megabyte block size increase. So again, no matter where you stand on the issue, I think that's really what's happening here. Of course, it's just my opinion. It's not evidential proof. You can't read why this volume came in, but you have to interpret it. You have to interpret price action. And that's what I think is happening here at the end of the day. So again, that's the big topic of this week. We could see continued disruption. We could see this be the catalyst for a sell-off. This could be the what we expected for Segwit 2X, where you see really two currencies collide, and I honestly don't think at the end of the day there's going to be any cashing. It's kind of a wide shot. I mean, you're playing with a currency right now that's multitudes higher than Bitcoin Cash, but it's cryptocurrencies. Anything can happen. I mean, I think that's why we're panicking over a 6 to 8% drop. Anything can happen overnight, and what we have to do is keep an eye on Bitcoin. So I'm going to give you all a brief summary of what I'm watching for. Doomsday case scenario. If we break below, as you can see here, I'm looking here on the hourly. If we break below $6,200, I think it's probably safe to say we should start moving to some cash positions. Okay, and right now, maybe you want to start considering that. Maybe moving, I know altcoins, for example, as much as I was hunky-dory about it the other day, they're pulling down just as much as Bitcoin. These are all Bitcoin comparative. So if Bitcoin's moving down 6% comparative to US dollars, you can be rest assured these are moving down multiple percentage points. In those cases, double digits. So again, nothing to panic about, but we might want to start slowly moving over some positions to cash, USD Tether, or whatever you want to put it in that's more safe. Or put it in some other hedging positions against Bitcoin. Maybe you want to get a little bit of Bitcoin Cash. Maybe you want to consider that for the next few days that this thing could continue going up. I'll be honest with you, I don't have any positions in it, but I'm definitely considering it. Just saying, not actual advice, but you gotta assess your risk reward profile. Do you think that Bitcoin Cash could be a hedging device? It's been higher before comparative to Bitcoin, but it wouldn't mean that it would be a higher USD valuation if it continues going up. And I would say to see if it sustains this. If the Wix goes down a lot today and it closes below like 11 million Satoshis, that's just a FOMO run up. That's probably just South Korean volume coming in. Could be that. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I think none of us really know what's going on in this market. We got to keep level headed and just, play the market cycles. Going back to Bitcoin here. Play the market cycles. This could be the beginning of a pullback, and we might have to see it come down here to the bottom support line and get rid of some of this exponential action, not to mention just come down for a correction. And if we got to pull back down to the 5,000 range down here, it'd be extremely healthy for Bitcoin and altcoins as well. But no one knows. We gotta be calm. We gotta sometimes let Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies ride the storm. And I know many of you out there are hodlers. So if you're hodling, hodl strong, fam. We gotta do this. We gotta get through this. But anyways, everyone, that's it for the update. Just thought I'd really try to break down this topic because I know a lot of you are concerned about it, and do my job here to help you all as much as I can. Anyways, everyone, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do have any kind of comments or questions about certain topics that I didn't talk about today, or if you're curious on something, or if maybe you've got an opinion on this topic, I'd love to hear it down in the comments and get a discussion going. Again, we're here to learn from one another, and I like talking to you all at any time I can. Also, I forgot to mention at the end of the recording for this weekly update, I'm sorry, I broke my rule of keeping everything in one streak. I do have to ask y'all, would you all like to see the third final installment of Trading Cryptocurrencies for Professionals? I'll snap to that, and I think you will too. See you all later. Take care.